All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming. In the last several lectures, as you can see, I gave an introduction to databases, and then we went through a simple example. And here we built the database, and really I just did a lot of copy and paste. And then I ran a few queries so you could start seeing what databases are all about. Now, what I'm going to do here is a little bit different, and that is to start with, I've got this database. Now, years ago, when I was teaching at a school in Wisconsin, I found this database at the back of the book. And I used it. I made some changes to it over time, etc. I'm going to make some more, probably some right in front of you as well. But as you can see, it's a sales orders database. We have 8 tables. All right. We've got a table called customers. We've got a table called employees. We've got a table called orders. We've got a table called order details. We've got a table called categories. We've got a table called products. We've got a table called product vendors. And we've got a table called vendors. Now you can see here that we have in here these lines. So there is a direct connection between customers and orders, one between employees and orders, one between orders and order details, one between order details and products, one between products and categories, one between products and product vendors, and one between product vendors and vendors. Now, I may have missed one. I don't think I did. All right. So why am I showing you this? Well, you'll also notice that, for example, the customers and employees, there's a primary key, PK, primary key. But also, if you look in here in orders, there's not only a PK for order number, there's an FK for foreign key. The customer ID from the customers table is put into orders. The employee ID from the employees table is put into orders. All right. Now here we got CPK. What the heck is that? It's a concatenated primary key. It's a combination of order number and product number. And the order number here will correspond to the order number there. The product number here will correspond to the product number there. Here we have a primary key of product number and a foreign key of category ID, which links us to our category table. All right. Here we've also got what? We've got a product number, and here we've got a concatenated primary key of product number and vendor ID, which allows us to link back to the products table and link to the vendors table. Long story short, we can get information from any to all of these 8 tables. Now, let's say that I wanted to get information, let's make it almost as hard as possible, from the customers table and the vendors table. We would have to not only incorporate what we wanted from customers and what we wanted from vendors, but we would need to go through and add orders and order details and products to get vendors. And if that confused you, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then please just try to bear with me for a little bit. So what we have in here is a picture of what the database will look like. The next thing to do then is to come in here and create what's called the schema. Now I've got this in alphabetic order, all right? At least I think it is. So we've got categories, which has got a category ID and a category description, and customers, and you can see the information, employees, and you can see the information, vendors, and you can see the information, products, and you can see the information, product vendors, you can see the information. I guess it's not in total alphabetic order. Orders, and there's the information. Order details, and there's the information. Now, why is it in this order? Well, if you notice, order details depends on order ID and product ID. So we have to make sure we list orders first and products first. Product vendors depends on product ID and vendor ID. So we need products first and we need vendor first, etc. I'm not going to go through all this. What I am going to try to do here, I don't know if it'll work. Again, it's been a long time since I played with a lot of this stuff, but I'm going to come in here, and this is creating a table, but I want to create a database, and I want to call it sales orders. So let's go back to here. Do I have one called sales orders? I do. So I'm going to remove it. Okay, I'm going to grab this. They're already in there, but I want you to be able to see me recreate this. All right, so here's sales orders. There's rename. Let's drop the database. It says you're about to destroy a database. Do you really want to do that? Yeah. And it's gone. There's no more order details, or I'm sorry, sales orders in there. So I'm going to recreate it. All right, so I'm going to create a database, and I'm going to call it sales orders. All right, and I'm going to click create. Now, it asked me to create a new table, etc. I could go and key all this stuff in, but come on, that would take way too long. So instead, I'm going to try to do some importing. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to import. And it says the file, what file do we want to import? Choose file. And I'm going to try to find it. So it's on my desktop. All right. And sales orders MySQL. And sales order schema.sql. So there it is. And I'm going to click import. And we'll see if it works. You'll know right away whether or not it works. Well, if you look, there I've got my tables back. But if I look at them, they're empty. All right. So I'm going to click import again, and I'm going to try to bring that information in. So file to import, choose file. Now, and I'm going to do this in order. So there's categories. All right, and I'm going to say to import it. Now it says duplicate entry 0 for primary key. That isn't good. Well, let's take a look. All right, categories. There's got a category ID and a category description. So let's take a quick look at it. Hey, there could easily be errors in here. Int not null primary key. Well, that is true. The problem is, all right, what I want to do in here with these primary keys is I want to make it auto increment. All right, so I think I can put that in there as, let's try it as auto increment. Well, it took the increment. Doesn't like that. So let's see how we get that in there. Hey, I'm not afraid to go and sit there and say how to add an auto increment field to a MySQL table. All right. Add auto increment column to existing table. Primary, it's auto underscore increment. Okay, not a problem. Okay, it did not turn blue. I thought that it probably would have, but it did not. I'm going to try to add this to every one of these. Now, when I say every one of these, well, that's a new category, that's a new customer, that's a new employee, that's a new vendor, that's a new product. But here, these are existing fields, so I don't want to add it there. That's a new order. And we don't want to add it there either. So let's save this, see if it works. Now, to do this, I'm going to have to drop all my tables. Sorry. And I might have to do this more than once throughout this because I'm probably going to screw it up, at least at some point. So let's go back to sales orders here. And let's see if we can do it from SQL. Drop database sales orders. Okay, and it's gone. Well, let's see if we can add it again. How about if we do it from here? We says no database selected, so we should be able to come in. How do we do that here? New database name, sales orders. And if you look, we've recreated it again. So let's see if we can bring this in again. Import, file to import, choose file, schema. If we get an error or multiple errors, it won't work. All right, looks like it did. Got the auto increment in there as well. Good, that's a start. So let's go back in again. Let's import. Let's choose our file, and let's see if now we can do categories. Again, it may not work. Well, let's look at categories. There you go. We've now got 6 categories. All right, let's do our next file. Again, I'm doing these in order, the same order they are here. So we did categories. Let's do customers. No errors, always a good sign. Customers. Well, when you look in here, we now have at least 25 customers. All right. And 27 customers. Okay, good. Let's go to import again. Choose file. So we've got schema, categories, and customers. Let's do employees. All right. We've now got employees. And it looks like we have 8 employees. Okay. So we've got schema, customers, schema, categories, customers, and employees. Next, we'll do vendors. And it's giving us an error. It says operand should contain 1 column. Okay, here's the problem. I'll bring it in here. All right. Vendors, well, it says here it needs a vendor ID, and I don't think I put one in. So let's see. Maybe I goofed up again. Totally fine. So we looked at the categories. You can see that's what we inserted right there. I could have typed this in. I could have copied this in and put it into PHP MyAdmin, and it would have worked fine. There were our customers. There's our employees. And here's our vendors. Now, it doesn't like something that's in here. We have to figure out what that something is. So it says for vendors, well, we've got this field. That's an auto increment field. Well, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fields. So let's look and see if indeed we do. One, 2, 3, 4. So Bellevue was 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10. Looks like we have 10. Well, that might be, let's see. No, that's one field. Shinomon Incorporated, that's 1. The address is 2. In fact, let's look at it from here. I want to do this. I want to grab the schema, and I want to open up that here. There we go. So I'll make this a little bigger in a second. So this is vendors here. All right, in fact, I'm going to shrink this one down so we can see as much of it as possible. Move this over. All right, so the vendor ID we don't put in because it's an auto increment field. Vendor name, vendor address, vendor city, vendor state, vendor zip code, vendor phone number, vendor fax number, vendor web page, and vendor email address. Well, that worked. Now, it may be choking here on these nulls. Null means unknown. All right, I want to go back here and see if I can figure this out. Operand should contain one column. And it looks like it might have choked here. Is null null the first time we have something? Again, null means unknown. So let's count. Again, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fields. We don't count the vendor ID field. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe it's choking on these nulls, but I'm not sure. All right, what I'm going to try to do is instead of these nulls, I'm going to replace these. So I'm going to do a search and replace, and I want to replace every time in here I've got null, I want to replace it with the empty string, double quote, double quote. Oops. Double quote, double quote. So let's replace all those. Okay. All right. I don't know if that'll fix it, make it better, make it worse. I have no idea. And in fact, instead of double quote, I should have single quote, single quote. So let's again search and replace. We will replace all double quote with single quote. And we'll replace all of them. All right, close. AC. Let's see if this fixed it. No idea if it will or not. Oops. So we will again import. In fact, let's see, do we have anything in vendors right now? No. Okay. So we're going to attempt to import the file. Again, we're up to number here 4 here, vendors. Let's see if it works. It may not. Still did not. All right, operand should contain 1 columns. Looks like right here it's blowing up. Maybe it's here by this dog ear. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should have worked. Excuse me. Right above it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should have worked as well. All right. So I'm going to put in here MySQL error. All right. It occurs when a subquery returns more than one column, typically arises in select or insert statements when it's only supposed to select one column. Well, it is an insert. That's not going to help us any. That's using a select to do an insert. Well, I'm up to 21 minutes. I have to finish this before I can go on, though. Oh, boy. Let's, just for the heck of it, I'm going to try something here. And that is, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab all of this through here. All right. And that's everything that's up until here. And I want to just see if this works. So these are the first, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, looks like 10. There's 10 vendors, and I want to see if the first 5, if there is an error in there. So right now, I believe I don't have anything in vendors. I do not. So I'm going to go into SQL here, see if I can plop that one in. No. All right. Usually this means something like you're missing a comma or something in there, but I don't see anything where I'm missing a comma. And it looked like, taking a quick look at it, it looked like all my fields, let's close this, were big enough. So what I'm going to have to do is stop the lecture here, see if I can fix it, come back and put the rest in. I'll be back in just a bit. Thank you.